Well, welcome to another edition of the Super Slowdown Network. I'm David Essel. Today I wanted to bring you back in time with me a little bit and to do something I haven't done on YouTube before, and that is to talk about my own moment of sobriety and what an incredible experience that was. I'm going to tell you a little background about the story. I'm not going to keep you a long time, but if you know someone that is struggling with alcohol, and when we talk about alcohol, it could be someone that drinks once a week, once a month, once every 6 months, but they just don't like to stop. That creates a little problem here. Pass it on to them. Pass it on to as many people as you know, and maybe this is just for you. Maybe you're struggling with alcohol or some other substance, and I hope that this will give you a little bit of hope and know that whatever it is we're struggling with at this moment, we can release, we can be released from. So when we think about sobriety, we think about a life without something that we have depended upon. For some people it's sugar, for some other people it's alcohol, other people it's nicotine, some people it's drugs, street or pharmaceutical, it doesn't matter. For me, I was one of those people that just really enjoyed wine. I really did. Enjoyed it a little too much probably, right? But I really enjoyed it, and I used it on a regular basis as a crutch. As a way to, as we all say when we have an addiction, to either take away my boredom, to help me celebrate the excesses and successes of life, or to take care of the times when I was upset, anxious, insecure, angry, whatever it might be. It was used for all those occasions. Now, the interesting thing is, for many of us who are in recovery, is that I never got a DUI, I never got put in jail, I never lost a job, I was never demoted because of my addiction. There was no real blaring sign in the universe that was saying to people in general, hey, be careful of David Essel because when he goes out he has too much to drink or whatever it might be. There was nothing like that. Yes, it definitely had a negative effect on my interpersonal relationships from time to time. But it wasn't something that was huge. I never hit anyone, and I was never arrested, those kind of things. As a matter of fact, when I called my family to let them know I was going into a 30-day treatment center a number of years ago, they were all shocked, except for my younger brother. He knew exactly. As a matter of fact, this is funny to me now, but we used to talk about for years that whoever won the lottery first had to take the other person into rehab. Seriously, we would joke about it, but we both knew that we had an issue here with it. And so with me, my bottom wasn't the bottom that a lot of people talk about. I didn't lose a job, I didn't lose my house, I didn't lose a car. It was just a final inner knowing that enough is enough. I was tired. I was tired of always having to have alcohol around or looking for it or planning my day around it. Now, a lot of this fatigue, I'm telling you, I really didn't know that I had until I was free from it. Until I could go a week, a month, a year without ever having alcohol, without ever having it for Christmas, my birthday, or whatever. I didn't know how much control it really had on me. But I wanted to share with you today the moment. There was a moment in my existence when God stepped in and I realized the power of surrender that we can use for any substance, thought, or behavior whatsoever that we have an addiction to. And I'm really excited to tell this story, as a matter of fact, because it can happen to anyone. Now, mine happened to happen in a treatment center, but I've had other experiences that I have relief from addictions that I'll tell in the future that I wasn't in a center. But for me, going to a center for 30 days, being in lockdown, baby, being told what to do for 12 hours every day was crucial for me, and it really helped me. Not only did it help me, but once I got out of it, it allowed me to help other people get sober at a deeper level. Now, I've been helping people get sober for 20 years, and that's a long time to help people get sober, and for a large percentage of those years, I was still drinking. So when I cleared that out, of course, you know how much more effective you can be. But I want to share this moment, if you can imagine this, in time with you. So I made the decision to go into a treatment center, and how that came about was really interesting. I was dating someone who was in sobriety, and she was always very nervous to tell me that she was in sobriety. And one day, she was pacing and nervous and anxious, and I asked her what was going on, and she said, I need to talk to you right now. And I thought, oh my Lord, I'm in trouble. What did I do, right? And she goes through this hour story. She was crying, I was crying, and she was so afraid that if she told me that she was in recovery, that she was sober, that she was an alcoholic in recovery, that I might leave her. And actually, the opposite happened. When she told me the story, 2 days later, I called the same treatment center in West Palm Beach, Florida, called the Hanley Center. And I did the intake over the phone, and 30 days later, I walked in the doors, and this is where it really begins, for 30 straight days. I walked in the door and I went into what they call the detox center, and I was there for 2 or 3 days. I forget what it was now. And on my release from that to go into general population, there was a note that said, "See Father Ron." Now, my whole life, as long as I can remember, has been based on a spiritual path. It really has been. Even when I've made mistakes and erred and everything else, it didn't matter. Praying every day to God, being in meditation every day with God, everything was based around God. It has been for 25 years. And with that, though, I could have been and was a blazing alcoholic. And that doesn't matter. If you're a man of God or a woman of God, you still can make errors, right? So I go and I find Father Ron, and he says, "I've only got a minute, I'll talk to you tomorrow, but this is what I want you to do. I want you to go home and think about this one concept." He said, "I know you've written books, and I know you've done a lot of things, and you're a public speaker and all that kind of stuff, but I want to tell you this. Your sobriety, your ongoing sobriety, in this center for 30 days and out in the real world will depend on one thing. If you take these 30 days and you get closer to God, you will never desire to drink, to do cocaine, to do anything else you've ever done for the rest of your life. You never will. Okay, get out of here. I'm busy. I'll see you tomorrow." And I walked out of his office, ladies and gentlemen, and I said, "What was that all about? What do you mean get closer to God?" I'm walking to my bunk thinking, well, that's kind of crazy. I can't get any closer to God. I pray multiple times a day. I meditate multiple times a day. I journal. I've written books about God, for heaven's sake. You know? Like, what do you mean? So I went to my room that night, and the next morning I had to get up early because I was in charge of waking all the other 25 guys up every day at 5 a.m. So I get up at 4:15, go get my coffee, start walking the track, and I started thinking, if I devote my life fully to God, if I get closer to God, I'll be sober for the rest of my life. I'll never desire to drink again. I don't understand that concept. So I walked the track. I came back in. I woke everyone up. I went back out on the track. I needed my own alone time. And I don't remember the exact lap it happened, but I want to tell you something. The most powerful thing that I can remember happening was that I started walking and I just started saying to myself, I fully surrender. I joyfully surrender my life and will to you, God. I joyfully surrender my life and will to you, God. And something happened. It was a moment with God where I felt that immense presence. I felt that love. Can I get an amen? I felt that love, that caring, that warmth, like I was surrounded by the arms of God, and I understood what Father Ron was saying. I don't know how it happened, quite frankly. I hadn't spent any more than 5 minutes with Father Ron. He'd give me this one little task to do, think about this, and I'll talk to you about it tomorrow. And all of a sudden it happened. And I kept devoting every moment that I had at that center to walking the track. You know, people would laugh because they'd see me walking around dressed like this little monk, you know, with my sandals and my monk clothes on, and I'm walking and I'm praising God. And these are prayer beads. They're called a mala, prayer beads. And I would pray the prayer beads as I walked, praising God and just constantly saying, I joyfully surrender my life and will to you, God. I walked back in that afternoon to Father Ron. I sat down, and he said, "What do you think?" And I go, "I think I got it. I have a little bit of it." He goes, "That's all you need. You're ready to rock and roll." And for the next 30 days, it was total immersion in God, 12 hours a day. Whether I was doing one-on-ones with therapists, group therapy, in classes about addiction and recovery, or whether I was with Father Ron and one other guy, as we went into the community several nights a week and joined prayer circles, I immersed myself in God, and I am so blessed, so thankful, so filled with gratitude to this day. And every day I wake up in gratitude to God. I joyfully surrender my life and will to God. And sobriety happens that one day at a time. I really hope that this will help someone. If you know, pass this around the world. Get these messages out there. Share. There is hope from any addiction whatsoever. I'm talking about alcohol right now, but it could be anything, ladies and gentlemen. Go to our website, talkdavid.com. If I can help you one-on-one, if I can help your brother, sister, mother, father, friend, lover, husband, wife, whatever it might be, your child is suffering from an addiction, let me know. I'd love just to talk to them if that's all it is. And don't forget to sign up right here at YouTube for these emails, because we'll send right to your email box every time we print them, okay? Blessed to you, blessings to you. I love you very much. Can't wait to see you again, okay? Have an awesome day. Bye now.